Hi guys, I'm Gustavo from Century 21 Synergia Realty,
And I'm co-host Victor Ayala with VHA Magazine.
and today we have a great video for you guys. If you're a home buyer, homeowner, or if you're thinking about buying a home, this is a must-watch video. Today we're gonna have a very special guest for you guys here. We have Tracy Burnside from Choice Home Warranty, and Tracy is an expert in home warranty. So today we're gonna be breaking down what a home warranty is, how it works, and some tips for you guys watching at home to help you save money and stress and time.
So Tracy, can you explain to us what is a home warranty?
Yes, I would love to. And hello, thank you for having me on. First off, I'm very excited. Home warranty is a service contract. And although you see them primarily when you buy and sell real estate within the real estate contract, anybody can get one at any time. So whether you're a renter, whether you are a homeowner that's not planning on moving, or whether you're buying or selling real estate, a home warranty can help you out. It's very different than homeowners insurance. And a lot of times people wonder, like, I already have homeowners insurance. Why do I need a home warranty? Well, home warranty is going to protect your systems and appliances. So you think your HVAC system, your plumbing, your electrical, all of your appliances that are built in, right down from like a garage door opener or a garbage disposal. So in 1984, you saw a lot of home warranties coming on the market, and they had very basic items covered. But today we have coverage for just about everything in the home. And with those coverages, they all have limits, but it's very affordable. And if you know how to use a home warranty is really the key on whether or not you'll continue to renew it.
Oh, okay. So we've been using Choice home warranty for, I want to say, 2 years.
Yeah, right.
And I think the reason why we chose you was, number one, obviously the relationship that we have as individuals, but also because none of our clients have ever complained.
Yay!
Ever. And I'm not saying this just because you're here. I'm literally telling you the truth. Like they're very happy with it, and then they feel like that extra protection that they get, like it's obviously like a peace of mind for us, because we know that there's somebody else that's gonna step in and then help them. Yeah. The very commonly, the first thing that they do is the keys for all their the doors. That's pretty cool, and that's something that nobody has, at least that I've heard of, and so I like that.
For like the first time home buyers who don't really know anything about this, what would you tell them, like that you would say like that makes home warranty an essential tool for them?
Okay, so this one is an easy question. And the biggest reason to get a home warranty, especially as a new home buyer, is because you don't know how that home was treated. You don't know if the sellers had dogs in that home and never once changed that air filter. And when you have a system, the air filter is all about sucking in air from the intake, going through these coils, and then the air comes out cooled through your vents. Well, if you have debris and gunk and stuff getting sucked in constantly, and you don't have somebody regularly maintaining that unit, even if it's a 10-year component or 10-year HVAC unit, it can fail the first year.
Yeah.
And you're not expecting that cost. And if you look at what an HVAC unit costs to replace, people don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
They're putting everything down the first, to buy the home, and they're kind of stretched already. They're getting as much as they can. So they do not have $20,000 to replace big HVAC equipment like that. So a home warranty is not going to cover all of the cost for those types of things. But as a new homeowner, you have that protection due to premature failure due to failure to maintain the unit. So you're protected as a new homeowner from that, only in the real estate contract. If you were to buy one on this house, we would expect that you maintain your home. And we would expect that you have maintenance records or some type of proof that you're maintaining it, because then you know how it was maintained.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to give you grace if you just purposely, don't maintain your equipment and then it fails prematurely. So for the new buyer, I think it's so important that they get it. They do not know how that equipment is taken care of. And your home inspector, although you guys get home inspection reports, they don't open that equipment. They put it right there in the report that this is just a visual inspection. We're going to turn it on. We're going to make sure that the degree outside and the degree coming through the unit has a specific split, usually like a 20-degree split, and that's it. They've considered it working and functioning, but it's very common that we see it fail, and it was lack of maintenance that caused that failure.
What are the items that a choice home warranty covers? Like, can you give them an example of maybe a few things that you know that?
So right away, there's a service-based coverage. You guys love it. It's the rekey. So we don't know who has copies of your key. When you first get that in your hand, they could have given it to a grandma or an aunt, and they forgot they had it, and she just thought she was popping in, and she doesn't live there. They don't live there anymore. So it's always important to rekey your home as soon as you get the copy of the new keys, and that's one of the services that home warranty usually will cover nowadays. So you pay the service fee, which is a $75 service fee with choice, the lowest in the industry. And also, how home warranty works is you pay the service fee and you place the claim. And then you are matched with a technician in your area. So it's going to be a locksmith that will reach out to you. You guys schedule a convenient appointment for you both, something that works for you, and then they come and provide that service. So that service initially is up to 6 locks, which will usually handle all the homes. No mailboxes, no gates, no things like that. It's just the primary home. And then they get 4 copies of that new key.
Nice.
To share with the family. That's just right when you get in. So that's a good way to find out how home warranty works without being stressed. Unless you've had a slab leak where you have to turn off water, or you have your HVAC fail in 110-degree weather that we love out here, there's nothing like being stressed from no hot water. When you place a rekey claim, it's not stressful. You're still happy you got the home. You're just getting your keys. You can get in and log on to your account, but now at least you know how to use it. You know the process of it. Home warranty is not an emergency service. So it's very different than if you have a pipe gushing in your home. You would think, oh no, we need a plumber today to get this done. Home warranty is not going to be your best friend in that situation because it's a process, just like I said. So you'll have to place your claim, you'll have to shut off your water, and then a technician will have to be matched to you. You'll schedule your appointment. Now we do keep in mind, like, hey, if there's no water to your home, we're going to try to schedule you and make that a priority. But it's not like an emergency service where you're going to get somebody on a Sunday or on Christmas. Like you can if you're willing to fork out the bucks in a retail situation. So that is a stressful situation for a lot of people, but for the most part, if you know how to use it, and this is so great that you guys are doing this because homeowners need to know. If you look at complaints online, you'll see a lot of complaints in home warranties, and I've read through them too. A few years ago, I was just went on Facebook and I just said home warranty complaints, and a whole bunch of them came up from all different companies. But I was reading through them and I'm like, oh, that's a normal situation, and we wouldn't have covered, upgrading the panel, and and I'm like, wow, a lot of these complaints are just home warranty. It's not necessarily that something went bad, but their experience is so bad because they didn't know about the product, or they were oversold the product sometimes by their realtor. Sometimes people are afraid to sit their client down and go, okay, we're going to ask for the safety concerns, but there's some things that you're going to have to take care of as a new homeowner. And although we have this home warranty on your home, it's not going to cover everything. Of course, it's not. It's a $660 product. There's no way it's going to cover everything.
And good thing you mentioned the price. Also, just so you guys know, typically it's covered by the seller. So whoever's buying the property with us, it's something that you don't have to get worry about paying because it's already been taken care of by the seller, and we make sure we put it on the offer so that way you guys are taken care of. I think that for us, when we get phone calls and because what we typically do is when we're in a transaction, we let them know, like, look, for sure you need to do a home inspection. We need to know what's wrong with it. You have to, and it's like mandatory, because there is clients that are like, oh no, I don't care, like I just want to, no, 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 no. You have to get a home inspection. Once we have that, and then we sit with them, and then the brochure that you give us that has a list of things that actually covers, we tell them like, look, this is the condition that your house has now. At some point in the future, for wear and tear, it's gonna give, it's just something's gonna happen.
It always will.
So, but this is your protection. This is another, well, help or assistance, because you can always just call this company, and you have, and then the cool part too is the time frame. Typically it's a year, but with choice is more, right?
Yes, you can. Well, so when you sign up with your user or the email and phone number, it can be 13 months. If you would like a 2-year plan, so let's just say this is the instance where 2-year plan might be good for you. If you have very aged equipment, like a packaged unit on the roof, and you know it's like 18 years old, those things are weathered up there. The heat exchanger always breaks, and they are so expensive to replace. Something like that, and you know your buyer is like anxious about all of the older equipment. Sometimes the seller is not willing to do a credit, because they're like, I'm not going to give you money for a new air conditioner. We've lived here for 10 years and it's been fine.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. But you can use it as a negotiation tool also. Well, what about a 2 or 3-year home warranty? It'll make your buyer feel a little bit more confident that if something does break, a large majority of the cost will be consumed by us,
right?
The home warranty company. There's still going to be out-of-pocket cost. Not necessarily that the equipment is out of code, but when it was first installed, it was installed to that code, and it changes every single year. The steps that we have to do on an equipment change out today is so much different than 10, 15 years ago, even 5 years ago. Like, just to replace like an HVAC unit on the roof, we're going to need lifting equipment. You're going to need a specific roof-mounted roof mount equipment. You're going to need plenum that gets wrapped around. You might need to move the electrical whip that connects it. And then Title 24, the EPA government program, is going to want you to test the ductwork to make sure that there's no leakage in the duct. And if there is leakage in the duct, they're going to want that sealed. There is just so much now that comes with that big price tag of $15,000 to $20,000. That's why these guys aren't just buying a $500 unit and installing it on the roof. There's a lot that goes into it so it can pass inspection. When you're working with a home warranty company, we require that our technicians are licensed and insured. And in order for them to keep that license, they need to pull permits sometimes when permits are necessary, and they need to have those inspections done when they're installing new equipment, which is good. Like when you sell that house in the future, 5 years down the road, and now you guys are listing that home and representing them, they're going to say, oh yeah, we had a new unit put in. It was put in by a licensed and insured contractor, and we know it's up to code, so it just looks better for the new buyer.
Yeah, and I think that, goes back to customer satisfaction. When we are able to do that, it gives us more satisfaction to what we do, because we're like, oh my gosh, these people are having the home that they like. They're protected. Of course, they have their home insurance too, but this is more commonly. I feel like this is more commonly used.
Yes.
Than the actual home insurance, and having a strong, good quality home warranty. I think that's very important.
I love that you said that. Good quality home warranty, because you can get a very basic policy, and it's just so frustrating. Like if someone has a water heater change out and they have the basic policy. Yes, water heater's covered under the basic policy, but you have code upgrades that are covered with the upgraded coverage. You have out-of-pocket costs that could be covered with the upgraded policy, and they don't get that. So they're looking at a bill going, oh man, I have $2,000 out of pocket. I'm like, yeah, but retail it's $3,500. So you're still saving money, but it's not as big of a savings with a very basic policy.
Right.
So I'm really glad that you guys get the premium package.
Yeah.
It does make such a difference when we're dealing with claims and we're looking at like their out-of-pocket costs for one of the bigger equipments. But in the end of the day, they're still happy. If they look at a retail price of something and then they look at what they're paying out of pocket when they have a home warranty, it makes sense.
And it's just a list of things that it covers is pretty cool. Because
can you list 10 things that it covers?
From the top of my head, or can I base it on
you can even
calls
look around
from
your house?
Yeah, like from the top of my head, or phone calls that we have heard. I'll do 5 and you do 5. For sure, water heater.
Yep.
For sure, the AC, since you mentioned it. Recently, it was the dishwasher.
Yep.
And then I don't know what's it called, but it's basically when you're cooking and it gets the air out. What is it called? The exhaust vents. That's 4.
Hood and range, yeah.
Hood and range. And then how many do we have?
What? You need one more.
One more.
You said it in the beginning.
The keys. The keys.
5. Okay, your turn, Gustavo.
Okay.
Of people that call us.
Like
it's hard.
Filter?
So the vents.
The vents.
The vents. So we actually do cover the ductwork. So the ductwork would be a covered item, but it's very rare that fails unless it comes detached or something. Or let's just say a homeowner keeps up their home warranty for 10 years and it deteriorates. That would be normal wear and tear.
Yes.
Something like that.
I know one of them, Carla, called for the garage
door opener.
The garage door opener.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be very specific. The actual machine that pulls the door open.
That's 6.
And then sprinklers, I think.
Sprinklers is an added option, but yes, choice home warranty.
There was one house out, one of our clients that were like, "Oh, they're not working," and I was like, "What do you mean? We were right there." And then they had a call and it was covered.
Also,
what else?
Like lights
or electrical.
Like
the electrical,
electrical, yes.
And then like the furnace.
The furnace. Is covered. You guys are up to 8.
See, I'm basing it on phone calls.
For kitchen appliances.
Okay. Stove for sure.
Stove, yep.
The microwaves that are inserted in the wall.
I love that you said that. So you can't have a microwave that you just plug in on the counter. Yeah. It has to be mounted. But
yes.
Curious.
So it's those things. Those are the things that we have. Our clients call us, but I know there's more coverage.
Yes.
Like there's obviously washer and dryer, but we've never had called the roof, of course. But I mean, thank God we've never had any calls like that, because I think the roof will be scary.
The roof is a scary one because it's like it has to be the perfect storm for roof coverage to apply.
I mean, we don't want any storms.
And it's limited. So when we say roof coverage, your whole roof isn't coverage. It's like a limited leak coverage. So a good time to ask for the roof coverage. Actually, the roof coverage is included in the Choice Ultimate. But a good time to ask for roof coverage is if you know that there's already been leaks anywhere in that home, there's a good chance they're going to have more leaks. Because the underlayment paper that's underneath those shingles is really what deteriorates over time. And once it goes out in one section, it's going to go out everywhere. And we don't really know the way water travels. You don't really know where the problem is coming from. You just know where it ends.
Yes.
Where it ends. So if you know, like, hey, the home inspectors noted that the roof is really, really old, get it, but know that you have to plan for that budget to replace it down the road. Do not depend on home warranty to get that
right
for you, because that's not what we're doing here.
No. And I think that for us, since we work with a lot of investors, people that buy properties and then they rent them, it's like for us it's like beautiful, because all they have to do, like, for example,
like if a tenant were to call them for an issue, then they just have to make a claim with the home warranty and then basically schedule for the person to go out and take a look at the problem.
And then our clients are still happy because they know at some point something's gonna give. It's a given.
It's inevitable.
But yeah, and so having the home warranty, not just for 1 year, but like just constantly renewing, because that's something that you guys should know. Even though when you buy a house with us, and then she's representing obviously home warranty, but we constantly, I mean, our clients constantly renew their policy. It's like any other policy, that it's a service, I should say, that they're able to do that. So it's pretty cool because they continue to be covered. At that point, yes, now it's out of their pocket.
Did you guys know
Because
something?
Hmm.
So if your client remembers to keep in touch with you, when they get that renewal usually goes up. Even if they're with a different company.
Yeah,
then
but not
renewal
that
will go up.
much. We've seen it, but
Let me give you a little secret. If you call your realtors and they come back to me, we can put them back on first year rate.
oh,
So it's a nice little savings for you.
well, moving forward, for those of you,
With them because they can get you first year rate if you plan on renewing.
oh my goodness, hopefully some of our clients will see this. No, but that's something new. That's something else
it
new
is.
for us because we never thought of asking for discounts.
Yeah, for first year
So
rate.
What would you say are some common misconceptions people have about home warranty coverage?
Gosh, that's probably one to think about because there's a lot. Like the complaint list you'll find on Facebook, home warranty complaints. So a lot of those are misconceptions about home warranty. There was no service on a Sunday or Christmas, or it took longer than expected. Yes, those are very common. But the biggest one is that they only have to pay the service fee. That's probably the biggest one. Oh, my realtor said that I just had to pay the $75. Well, then what good is a home warranty? That's the next thing that they say after,
Yeah.
I have to pay out of pocket. And a lot of times they don't like if they ask a direct question like, oh, well, if I have my compressor changed out, how much will I have out of pocket? It's not a set number because we don't know the size of the equipment, the contractor that's doing it, what the cost is going to be to actually make that modification, and what coverage you have. It's going to be different based on your coverage. Do you have code upgrade coverage? Do you have non-covered charge coverage? It's going to be different. So the biggest misconception is thinking that one, home warranty covers everything, and two, when you do place a claim, that you're not going to have any other out-of-pocket costs other than the service fee. Now, there are things that you only have to pay the service fee, like your microwave. There's nothing other than like taking out the screws and putting in the new equipment, granted that we order the right size. There's not going to be modifications associated with that. Your dishwasher, your range and your oven and your washer, dryer, refrigerator. These are all appliances that with Choice Home Warranty, you get to pick yourself and we send you a check. We've kind of removed ourselves from that additional week delay of here, because formerly I worked for a different company and this is the way it worked. We would have to have the customer agreeable on a unit, and then they have to confirm the dimensions, which I thought was wild because a lot of homeowners don't know how
to measure.
No offense, I don't know sometimes the correct dimensions on measuring equipment online. So if it was delivered to their home, now that they got the delivery and it wasn't stolen off their porch, now they had to schedule another appointment for an install. And at that install, if it didn't fit, it was on the homeowner to send it back. It was just a big mess. So with Choice, what we do is, okay, we can't fix your unit or that part is no longer available. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at your unit because you can't get a Viking refrigerator if you have a Frigidaire. Okay, we're going to give you something comparable to what you have in the home. And once we find it online, we're going to usually reduce that cost by 15% because that's our cost. You'll always get paid our cost. So like yesterday we did one. We found a unit. It was $400. So the homeowner got $357 back. She was happy because she either gets a Lowe's gift card in an email, or she could wait for a check if she wants to buy it. I mean, at that point, you can go to the used Sears Center where they have like a little dent on them. You can get one of those for a pretty decent price.
Right.
And that's how we work all of the units. So anything like washer, dryer, kitchen, refrigerator, if it fails, we cannot repair it. We will replace it with that cost. And then it's up to you to choose what you want. And a lot of times Lowe's and Home Depot you went to, or even Costco, when you find the unit you want, they have people that will not only deliver it to your home, but install it same day.
Yeah.
So the process is so much better, and then you know that you get the right color stainless steel. I'm not telling the amount of times, and I agree. Like, people are specific with their equipment and their units, but I can't tell you how many times we've had customers say that's not the right stainless steel, because some of them are like dull, some of them are shiny,
okay.
some of them like they don't match. They're more like gun smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, but you chose it.
Mm-hmm.
You agreed to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
that's crazy.
I'm glad we don't have all of that extra step with this company. That actually makes streamlining. So like my follow-up list is all usually water heaters, HVAC, because those are actually like more important. People don't have hot water, or the water's turned off at the time, or they're hot or they're cold.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have anybody complaining about all of the appliances.
No.
So that's nice.
I mean, I think for us it's like a peace of mind. Also, like, I think it's very important to highlight or to talk about or tell you guys how it works. It's just basically, once we close a transaction, we print out the actual policy, which is a document, and it's in the binder that we give to our clients. There they have a policy number, and it has the name of the actual owners, and then a phone number that's probably this big, and it's big. And so and all they have to do is call. They call, and they say they state what's wrong with the situation, and then they get a second call from the actual technician or whoever's gonna come, and then they coordinate a time and date, and then they pay the service fee. And sometimes they do it when they come, sometimes they do it over the phone. It's just they let you know, and then your problem is fixed. And I think that's what makes us happy, because we know that our clients are still being helped even after we close. And then we get an email, so and so called, and then the situation was fixed.
Yeah.
So we know that it was taken care of. Has there ever been a case or a service call that you can remember that was crazy? Like, it was like, I don't know, abnormal?
So many. There's so many. I have like this binder book that I have had for years now, and I have pages of just things that sometimes I analyze them too. I'm like, what could have gone better here? And sometimes everything went right, but the situation just kept one thing after another. The one that gave me the most heartache was this last summer that we had. We partner actually with some pretty good technicians, and one of the technicians we partner is through Sears, and they specifically handle some inside components for HVAC. But when you have husband and wife and they both work, having them take time off work to meet a technician at the home, if that technician doesn't show up or has a car accident or something happens that, is, okay, maybe it's explainable once I throw a fit about it, and the contractor relation manager is like, Tracy, this happened and this is why he didn't show up. I'm just like, okay, well, we have to make sure they took time off work. Like, what can we do? And anytime the buyers are inconvenienced and I'm involved, I'm like, okay, can we take money off of their like non-covered charges at least, so that we can at least call them back and say, hey, because of the inconvenience, have that the level of service that will keep a homeowner happy and make sense that, okay, you didn't get paid for your work today, but we're reducing your charges by $300. Well, not one time, but 2 times this guy didn't show up, at the same technician. So you're at this point where your heart's like racing. You're getting those phone calls from the homeowner. I don't really have yet why or the explanation for them, because I haven't been answered with my emails. So now I'm just like, what do I do? Like, how do I get around this? So of course, these people are wanting to vent. That makes me emotional because I care. Like, I don't want those situations to happen. It doesn't make any of us look good. But it does. Sometimes it does happen. Then I'm like, okay, just this one time, either we can get it done through Sears, or I can move it to a different technician, but they're still going to have to order this part. And it was the part. So the next time, that was the second time he didn't show up, and it was because he lost the part. And she's like, at this point, I don't even believe him. Like, I don't believe that it wasn't in the van.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, I don't believe him either. Like, he's just making every excuse, it seems like. And I just don't. I mean, I'm with you. I'm like, so if you want to go and get I will fight to have you reimbursed. Like, hey, if you want to go outside of warranty and just get it done retail, I will be on the back end and getting you as much back as I can on that invoice. Because at that point, at least they're taken care of. Mm-hmm. And now I can do a battle on my end to get them as much back as possible. But it's one of those calls that we're both in. Like, do we wait? Like, he promised that they were going to come. They found the part. It was delivered to a different address. It was just such a cluster. I had the realtor, who was actually a mother-in-law, involved. And she's just like, oh my God, like, I feel so bad for them. Like, all of the kids are sleeping in one room because they have like the little portable air conditioner in there. It's like 110 degrees. They've already taken so many days off work. Like, my heart is breaking for them. I'm like, I know, like, me too. I'm with you. But in those situations, like, what can you do? Like, right. If we sent it to somebody, can they get the part, and then it's still going to take some time for them to get reimbursed. But she's like, no, they assured me it's going to be taken care of. At that time, they had like $1,100 out of pocket. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get as much back as I can, because we have you off work for 3 days now. We have a part delivered to a different address. We had someone who didn't show up. I emailed the contract relation manager. I never want Sears to come out to any of my clients' homes again. I was so upset. And they're like, Tracy, they actually do a decent job. This was an oddball. Like, this was just off the wall. It happens sometimes. But if you look at like their history, they've gotten really good reviews. I'm like, I want to hear that later. Right now, I want them shut off. Because if I hear Sears going out, I'm going to cry. Mm-hmm. But to my surprise, like, the day that they were supposed to show up, it was her husband this time who was home. She had to go to work. And I just followed up, and she was like, yes. And, I'm like, okay, that's so good. And I'm going to get you back. She's like, actually, they said that we didn't owe anything. And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. I didn't even have to fight. Like, that's awesome. Yeah. I was like, you know what? And then I wrote an email in. They have to read it. Like, thank you so much for doing that. Because, like, that just made me believe in the Choice Home Warranty, the company, not necessarily the technicians, because not all of them are going to be superheroes. Mm-hmm. But thank you for understanding where I was. I was in a tight spot. This homeowner was so grateful. Yeah. And she's just like, we're just so grateful for you and Melanie, and, just thank you. And so it was the worst situation this summer, but it wound up being, it's like an emotional roller coaster, just like real estate. Yeah. You have those moments where you're just like, is this even worth it? Like, should we keep doing this? And then you have those happy moments where you're just like, yes, this is why I do what I do.
In the same, for the same, I should say, part or subject, when we're sitting with the client and we're going over like this is what the home inspector said is wrong with your property, and then this is what can cover with Choice warranty. I always tell them that during the summer, it doesn't matter if we're the president or whoever we are, the AC technicians are super busy. They're super busy. So I warn them and I tell them, look, in a perfect world, you call an AC company and they come that same day. Not necessarily in that hour, not necessarily in 4 hours because they're busy, but just know that it's going to take longer just because you're not the only home. And everybody's using their ACs. I'm using my AC. Businesses are using their ACs. So expect a few days
Thank you for that. That makes my job so much easier.
Well, it makes our job because then they're like,
call us and be like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, you sold me a house and then now the AC doesn't work, but then the home inspection said it works. So I'm like, okay, listen, remember that conversation we had? Okay, it's very simple. Just call that number, and just so you know, we always save the home warranty in our phones for every transaction, because for whatever calls, we're like,
and here's a copy.
Here's a copy.
That's perfect. Because they can actually log in and access their home warranty too online if it is a weekend and get that claim placed without having to talk to somebody. And it's just so simple. It's the website at the bottom. Their username is the email, and the password is the contact number.
Yeah, it's really simple for them to, like, I mean, I usually have them call.
Yeah,
because most of them are very like old-fashioned and stuff, and phone calls are like the easiest way to get into the services. But I tell them about that. I also tell them, like, for example, when the house is it's not occupied, so meaning there's no furniture, there's nobody living in the property, and usually the sellers have like the gas, the water, the electricity on just for the open houses, just for until they do the home inspection. But I don't know what happens as soon as we close escrow, and then they turn off the utilities, and then the actual future buyer moves in, and then they turn on all the utilities, something stops working. It's
every
like,
single time.
the heck?
Why is that? I mean,
I don't know.
I wonder that too, because it seems like when there's a transfer of service, there's not a lot of issues. When the services are all turned off and then the new buyer has to turn them on, it's wild.
Something happens. Like,
there's a gas, something with the gas happens, or the water. I have so many open water heater claims right now.
Yeah, like, it's weird.
And it's just like, and all of them are those situations.
I
Water would turn back on.
I mean, this is just me, but I think maybe like the water heater. Let's focus on the water heater. I think they have something going on where they're like, okay, we want more business. Let's just make it so that if whoever turns it off and then they turn it back on, they need to have a technician to look it up and look at the unit and stuff like that.
They bring especially SoCal Gas. They'll bring one of those sniffers. And if you had the gas turned off and it's turned back on, they have somebody come in and they'll sniff around your oven, around your gas appliances, and if something's leaking, they'll shut the gas off. Yeah. And then say, red tag. We need to fix this.
We just had one with La Cadena, right? Like literally last week. Yeah. The seller. Okay, you tell the story. I know. I'm telling you, this could be like.
So it was a property we had in Riverside. We helped one of our clients to buy. It's a duplex, and when we did the home inspection, they basically like did everything. It was tenant occupied at the time, so they couldn't like go in and really do like a detailed inspection of the whole unit. But once we did get into the property, we realized that it was pretty much red tagged already for the furnace, the heater inside. So eventually, like, the owner our buyer had to hire somebody to go and check it out and to see like if there were leaks. So they also called the gas company to go and see, and they ended up saying that there wasn't any leaks, but it was still like weird because you have the red tag on there. It says like, don't turn this on because.
And they get scared.
Yeah.
That is a scary thing.
He was scared because he called one of our contractors that we use for our flips, and he was under the impression that when he went in there, he was going to be like, well, you need a new unit, and it's going to be like, I think he was quoted, not with the contractor, but individually.
I think they said almost like, this is like 10, 12 grand.
For the
furnace?
Yeah. So then he's like, oh my gosh, do you know anybody that can help us? Because, if it's red tagged, then that means we can't use it. And I'm like, wait a minute. We did the home inspection. Nothing was wrong. And as soon as the tenants left the property, and then obviously all the utilities were off, you had to turn them on. And when the gas company went and did that, I don't know, something's wrong. So when the contractor went into the property, and had a bunch of like gadgets that test, if there's any leaks, if they're and if it's working, if it's heating the home. And then he's like, everything's, it says pass, pass, pass. So he said, there's nothing wrong with the unit. Like, I don't know what the gas company saw that day in that moment. But it works. And he's like, oh my gosh, so I don't have to buy a new unit. And then he's like, no.
I'm so glad.
And then even the contractor charged him. No, he didn't want to charge him.
He didn't really charge him for
He's
that.
like, you know what? I feel like if I charge you, I feel bad
Did they
because
come out and reinspect to turn it back on?
no,
How did
what
they
he
get it turned on?
well, the tenant. So we bought it as an investment for him. So he started renting it, and then they moved in, I think, in October or September. I don't remember, but it wasn't in the cold season like now. So now everybody needs heaters. So they turn it on, and then they're like, wait a minute, something's wrong. Like, it's not working. It's not heating. It's not even turning on at all. So when he went in there, um, as in the owner, he's like, well, there's a red tag. Maybe we should call the gas company. And then he called us. And then we're like, well, you have choice. Or you
Did
call
you
them.
guys, were you able to?
Well,
call
here's the
Tracy?
thing. He's like, you know what? If it has, I researched. So he likes to be proactive. Some people just like stay there and then they want us to do everything, or you guys to do everything. So, but he's very like, okay, like let me research what this means. So when he saw that the red tag meant
Sometimes it'll say on it what the problem is.
that he's not supposed to turn it on, that he needs to have a contractor and that he's responsible for it. He's like, well, do you guys know any contractor? And then I'm like, okay, we do. And right away they did the appointment, and he was expecting, and I told him, I don't know how much those units cost, but you should look into it just in case. That way you have at least a reference. If he comes in and says, oh, it's going to be $20,000, you can be like, no, I saw this is how
Right.
much. And he's not like that, but you never know. So when he went in there, he's like, no, look, I'm testing everything. He stayed there for a few minutes too, after he had turned on the unit. And then when everything was like passing the test with the gadgets that they use, and looking at the pipes and stuff like that, he's like, you don't need a new unit.
I wonder if he just needed to light it or something.
Maybe it could have been something so simple.
Mhm.
And then he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So that was the call. He was calling us to just be like, guys, thank you so much for sending this guy. Like he
He was
was able
able to fix it.
to fix it, turn it on, and figure it out. So we're very, very happy. And I was like, oh, thank God, because that would have been a costly. But either
So
way,
were your contractors able to turn the gas on, or did they have to call the gas company back out?
the contractor did everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, he took all his tools and stuff. So it never got to the home warranty, and it never got to the gas company, just because he's like, okay, based on my research, when this is red tag, I have to contact somebody like a professional, a licensed
Yes.
contractor. And when he heard like, oh, everything's fine, I don't know what they saw that day. Maybe the door was open. I don't know, because
Yeah.
it was after
It
the
could have
fact.
even been dirty.
Yeah,
Like
dirty
if
too.
it was dirty and it was
Mhm.
hazardous because it was dirty
Yeah.
or something like that.
So he did mention that, though. He did mention that the contractor was not only like, he was making sure that everything was like clean and everything. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was something really, really minimal. And but I was really happy because it does stress us. It well, us, I should say, because then you're like thinking like, oh my gosh, this person's like upset.
And then when you had the home inspection, the home inspector probably looked at the furnace, I'm imagining, right? And it was on.
Yeah,
and
it was
working.
on. Yeah, because
So
there
weird.
was tenants living there,
Yeah.
and that's what I was telling you. That as soon as the utilities get turned off,
Mhm. They
even
do.
if it's just for a day or whatever, and then the new owner steps in and turns everything on, something just magically pops up.
It really does.
Mhm.
I wish more people would just leave the services on and do
Yeah.
a transfer. Is it really common for them to turn them off though?
No, only when there's no furniture or no one living in the property. Yeah, that no,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
like
usually when nobody's
vacant
living.
property or like something that's been renovated. Sometimes people will turn it off before.
I have a few right now where it's like the water heater's all over the garage and it's spraying everywhere. I'm like, all of a sudden, they're like,
Yeah.
well, we had the water turned on and, you know, just
And all of
all of a sudden. And another one I'm seeing a lot of is the pressure regulator.
Oh yeah.
The pressure regulator, the pressure's too high. One thing that's a little bit tricky with home warranty, if you have high pressure noted on your home inspection, be careful, because like if you have the water off and the water back on, it can surge that water to all of your components. And it's not just your water heater that'll start leaking. It will be your kitchen sinks, it will be your valves in your shower, your ice maker for your refrigerator might start leaking because of the high pressure. Those components aren't made to withstand high pressure. It's supposed to be a specific pressure that's released. And the sad thing is, a lot of times if you have failure of a water heater, now you have a hotline slab leak, all of these items that now you have to fix, and guess what? They're all secondary damage from the original pressure regulator. And if it's called out on the home inspection, a lot of home warranties will not cover it.
Oh, we do mention that too.
Yeah.
That's why I was telling you that we sit with them and we go over the home warranty / home inspection. We're like,
that's
okay.
Probably why your clients don't have a lot of issues.
No.
Because they're prepared with what actually happens. They know what to expect. Setting a realistic expectation really does make the difference between happy homeowners and then people that feel like they were taken advantage of.
Well, not only that, but since we're in social media and then we do this for a living 24/7, so are you. So we don't want any like bad reviews.
Oh, I know.
So that's why we sit with them and we're like, look, this is what really is wrong with your house. Sometimes, yeah, it's hard because home inspectors can put in the report something like very like it's not gonna happen today, but they
end of
make
life.
it. Yes, yeah. I hate
end of life expectancy. Yeah, but it's probably gonna outlive you too. Like if ever you guys visit a home with like that pale yellow oven or stove combo or the avocado green one, that unit will outlive you. Yeah. They work so well.
Really,
the
really
age
good.
of the appliance doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to feel. Actually, you know what appliance I'm not a fan of? Samsung.
Really? I have a Samsung phone.
You do? No, their phones are great. Their appliances. I feel like they're made to fail at like year 3. And guess when the manufacturer warranty's up?
In 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I gotta look for like every time we go show homes, I'll be like,
Samsung is such a pain.
And
you know, they are always coming out with the newest and best appliances. So a lot of times you don't have parts for the older because parts are no longer available. It's like, why though?
So Tracy, when there's refrigerators, especially now, I saw one in it's in Moreno Valley, the black and white home, where it has like a touch screen. Are those covered or? So
yeah, all parts of the water or refrigerators are covered, but there are limits.
Okay.
So even like on a Sub-Zero refrigerator, it's like $10,000. Choice Home Warranty only covers up to $5,000, and that's if you have a $5,000 refrigerator. We're not going to keep.
Who has those? That's
There's
crazy.
You'd be surprised.
Like, what do you put there? Well, I can't say it on YouTube.
Like, a turkey. Refrigerators at Costco are like $3,500 now. They're not cheap.
What?
They're not cheap. Everything. The cost of everything is going up except our pay. That's why everybody's broke.
That's crazy. No, I remember when we bought our homes, and then you guys recently bought what? No, you guys renovated your kitchen, right?
Yeah. So we what's it called? You sand the wood and stuff, and repainted the whole room, kitchen.
So when we purchased a house, I think that's easier.
And if they are good old cabinets,
yes,
they're gonna look really good.
Yeah.
Because you can stain them or paint them, and it'll look really nice. But yeah.
Because now stuff it could be really good quality, or it could be like, oh no, take it back. But when we had this house, like the appliances were a big deal. Don't get me wrong, we didn't buy like the high end stuff. It was just more like whatever was gonna help us cook. Because like you said, when people are buying a home, they're all in. They're the down payment, And then I didn't think about this too. Um, I always wanted a lot of windows, and there's a shitload of windows in my house. And then the curtains, the pole, it's like $50. So when it got to that, I was like, oh my gosh. It was like easily $1,000 just in the poles and then the actual curtains. Um, and then depending on the house, this one's like high ceilings. So I did want the big long curtains, but when I saw the big price,
it wasn't as attractive, for sure.
I'm like, oh wait.
Exactly.
But
everything is expensive.
yeah,
I was shocked actually as a buyer of my own home that window coverings you had to leave. I didn't know that. Like,
when we sell,
yeah, when you sell, supposedly your window covering. So if you don't have like shutters and you have curtains, those stay with the home. So I noticed, I'm like, I wonder if they switched them out, because I guess that would be the smart thing to do. If you bought like gorgeous long curtains, before you list the house or before you put it on the market for people to come look at it, change them up to like cheaper ones, because those are with the home. And I didn't know that. And same thing with the the things that are like your TV mount. Have you guys seen that? Those are supposed to stay so that there's no holes in the wall or whatever the reason is. But I'm like, who's gonna want my TV mount? That goes with my TV. It's not a new one.
Well, not only that, wherever you go, you
they
need
might not
it.
even want a TV there.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
It's so dumb.
Yeah. What is the biggest mistakes homeowners make? And then when they want to use their home warranties, they're not able to get it.
So the biggest mistake I'm seeing is, I've actually tried to get a lot of people reimbursed in this situation, and sometimes it's successful, but not calling home warranty first, or forgetting that you have one and paying out of pocket, because the price home warranty will reimburse you in a situation like that, if they reimburse you, because that's the shot in the dark. You're going to want to place the claim first and have one of our technicians verify that it cannot be repaired and you needed to replace something.
Okay.
But some people just get excited because a salesperson technician came and said, oh, you need a new unit. But you have to remember, when you're calling a retail company and they have a great smile and they show up on time and they're selling you on a new product, that's what they're there to do. They're there to sell you the product. They're not there to get dirty and take that part, order you a new part, and then put in a $150 part that would have probably fixed your situation. Whereas home warranty will absolutely do that. They're going to get the part, they're going to put the part in. We're not going to upsell a replacement, because guess who pays for the replacement?
You guys.
We do. So our technicians are good at troubleshooting, and they're good at fixing these units. But the biggest mistake, I would say, is a homeowner who gets sold on something like that and just does it without us verifying that the replacement had to be made, so there was no eyes on it. And then they're stuck with this ridiculous bill, and we're like, out-of-pocket cost with us would have been like $1,300, and you just paid $5,700. It's a huge financial mistake.
I usually tell them, don't touch anything.
Yeah.
Like if something stops working,
call them first.
Just call them. Because some people are all of a sudden technicians, electricians, construction workers, whatever.
Is scary.
And then I'm like, just don't touch it. Just, wait until a professional, somebody that does this, goes to your house. And sometimes they're like eager to get it fixed, that they're like, well, I try to turn it on, and I'm like, why the heck did you touch it? Because now, I'm not saying their fingerprints are going to be there, but your actions are going to be there. Yeah. And maybe it was something that has nothing to do with whatever you were touching.
Or trying to repair it yourself.
And then I always tell them, this is not to, spread fear or anything. I'm like, if you touch it, you can always get your claim denied because you alter stuff. And maybe, and technicians, they know their stuff. They know who went in there and did stuff. So I'm like, just call the number. So
I had one like that recently. It was a packaged unit on the roof, really, really old. The guy didn't get a home inspection though, so the whole thing was kind of fishy. Like, I was like, do you have a home inspection? No, he didn't want one. I'm like, he didn't want one. I'm like, come on. Pretty much there's already problems. But our technician went up, and again, he's really, really good. He's like, he's a Russian, so it's hard to understand a lot of times, but he sent a photo of like a part that was supposed to be in the unit on the rooftop, and then there was a bird's nest in the unit, like nesting in there. So I'm like, come on, give me something to work with here. I can't work with this, you know? But that was one of those situations where we couldn't do anything about that. You know, it's just like, so I'm trying to get more information. So what actually happened? Oh, well, we sent somebody up there and they tried to repair. I'm like, okay, well, you have a part missing. So the technician's not going to try to put their hands on it because now they're liable for that unit. So those situations are tough.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, I think that's also why we tell them not to mess with it, because they can mess up their situation basically.
And they can get hurt too. Another one is having unlicensed people. Your friend. Don't let people that are unlicensed and uninsured touch your home, because although they're your good friends, if they fall off your roof, if they get hurt, or they really damage your property, you have no recourse, and you're liable for their medical bills. They could sue you at that point. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the homie hookup sometimes.
Yeah, and it could be, you know, anything. It could not necessarily them falling, but if you have pets, they bite that guest, and there goes a lawsuit. It's something that could have been avoided with just calling the home warranty.
Yeah, getting a professional to take care of it. And that's also why, like, when we're working with our buyers, we always emphasize that they have the right team by their side, and in their corner, not just like us with real estate, but also like you as a home warranty rep, who's an expert in their field and knows and can answer those questions for them. Can you talk a little bit about how working with like a home warranty rep could benefit the homeowner beyond just having like their coverage?
Of course, yes. I think like you said it really well, even in that question, framing it. When you have your team supporting you, you have your realtor expertise. They're going to know your lender if you have lending questions. They're going to know what kind of property is it. Is it in a hazard zone? They know kind of everything about the property and the situation. I come into the picture after the fact. So if you have a claim that you've placed and you've gotten a denial maybe, and it's in a gray area, always call your agent and get them involved, because they do have that relationship with the rep. And most reps will advocate for you guys because of our relationship. And just like I was asking that agent, like, did you guys have a home inspection? I will ask you guys too, like, is this a good claim? Like, should I fight on this, or what do you think? Yeah. I'll sometimes even ask about the homeowner. Like, what do you know about this homeowner? Is this like a legitimate situation here? Yeah. And they'll confirm, oh yeah, these people are great. And a lot of times I'll advocate for the homeowner. So, meaning I'll ask for the report. And if the report isn't something I can easily explain, then I'll ask for a second opinion. Or I'll say, you know what, get an outside opinion. Maybe somebody without home warranty eyes to look at it. And if they tell me something different, now I have something to go against. I can be like, oh no, well, I've got an opinion saying that that's absolutely normal wear and tear. Or that could happen. I remember, you know those glass stovetops?
Yes.
And they're like, sometimes they have 5 burners. I remember a few years ago, I had a claim where there was, you know, a woman, she was cooking on 3 different burners. And apparently the glass got so hot that it like cracked, like the whole thing. But it was just, it cracked all over the place. So she called home warranty came out. Oh, and here's another thing. The glass cracked, and she had one of those vents that like came up from the countertop to pull the smoke in, and then it would go back down. So while the countertop cracked, some of the glass went into that vent. Wow. It was horrible. But the home warranty denied it because they were saying not normal wear and tear, or like damage, exterior damage. So I had the homeowner take pictures of it. And it took me a while. Like, it took me a good 6 weeks of arguing back and forth. But before ChatGPT came out, and that I love and I use all the time now, I'm like, is it possible, you know, for this situation to happen? I would go on Google and look at the chat rooms,
Mhm.
because technicians would often talk to each other about specific situations that are going on, or a failure with a specific unit. Even homeowners are like, they talk about, did this happen to you, things like that. That was very common. So if you're using all the burners, even though that, why would you have a 5-burner stove if you're not able to use them all at the same time?
Yeah.
So it's not something that she was using outside of normal use. And I was able to fight it and argue that for her on her behalf, that no, it was normal and we should cover it. And then the second part that they were going to do was saying that the air vent was secondary damage from the first part. And I'm just like, are we really going to petty that? Like, let's just get it done. Like, these are all one unit. The vents part is going to be a part of that specific stove. So let's just cover the whole thing. And we were able to get it done. But with a lot of arguing, a lot of back and forth. Yeah. And the homeowner didn't have to do that, because as a rep, I have 12 years experience as a rep specifically working on claims. I know what questions they're going to ask or what rebuttals they're going to tell me before I even send the email. Mm-hmm. So like if I'm in a situation and we have a water heater that just failed, and they're not even moved in yet, they just turned on services and now the garage door is flooded, I'm going to be like, okay, Gustavo, do we have a home inspection? Before I even ask you to send me the home inspection, look at the pressure regulator. Was it like warning high, recommending repair or replacement kind of situation? And then, and was there anything noted about the water heater leaking? No? Okay, send that over to me. I'm going to forward that in and really advocate on your behalf. Like, I know what you're going to ask. The check from escrow is on the way, because a lot of times we're not even paid like 3 weeks until 3 weeks later, because you know how checks work. It takes so long. It takes forever. And then I know they're going to say denial of pre-existing. So now we have your home inspection to show that no, it's not pre-existing. It's not secondary damage because the pressure to the home is fine. Like, what else can you say? Yeah. Give me my approval so we can move on to the next part of that, which is going to be getting the customer's non-covered charges and then scheduling that appointment for replacement. So,
for the buyers that are watching or future buyers, please don't close your transactions without having a home warranty. Please, please, please.
Very important.
And then where can they find you?
Ooh.
You know, because obviously there's other agents. No, I know, but there's other agents that are going to be watching this, and then from the area. And we're not selfish. We share her. And your social media or your email. Okay. We'll put it right here in subtitles.
Sweet. Yeah, so I do a lot of warranty tips on my social media. It's a lot of me, and then a little bit of home warranty, so I don't bore you guys, because I'm sure it gets pretty boring with just appliances and HVAC units. But yeah, you can find me at TracyBeth22 for my Instagram, and chwpro.com is our website. But for the most part, just choose Choice Home Warranty on your next transaction. And if you're in the Riverside or San Bernardino County area, I will be your rep.
Awesome. And then what's really cool too is like for agents that are in our office or even ourselves, whenever we have a buyer, and we open escrow. Typically the protocol is you go on the website and you have to put in the information, but with Tracy is really simple. We just send her the address, the name of the owners, and then she takes care of it. So we want to thank you for that, for making it also easy for us to, we're not lazy, but we're just,
you guys, honestly, and you were on my top 50 list for 2024. So you're kind of a big deal.
Thank you. We make sure that, you know, we contact you and that we use you, and I think it's, like I said, it's just the quality, it's just the customer service, that our clients are happy. And I think we should do something like maybe like a flyer, so that we can send to all of them. Like, hey, don't forget to renew, or contact if you need anything. Yeah, because I mean, I think that it will be really cool. And then agents that are watching us, you know, even from our office, we should implement that too. Like, just send them, like, I mean, we're all helping each other. So I mean,
yeah, at the end of the day, we are here to really help each other.
Yeah.
In our community, as buyers and sellers, you know, we're all struggling, and just in life in general, life is hard. We're here to make your life easier, and we're not here to oversell you. We just want to help you and inform you of what's the best practices to get the most from your home warranty.
Yeah. And then I learned something. So it's not just only homeowners. It could be someone that's renting, you said?
Yeah.
I didn't
Usually
know.
it's the owners that will
Purchase it
for
for
the
them.
renter. Yes.
Okay,
But
cool.
you can even add. I mean, here's the tricky part. We don't want the renter to make decisions like, oh yeah, I'll cash out on that.
No.
So a lot of times you should have your contact information in there. Yeah,
Yes.
but it doesn't matter if your house is a rental. It doesn't matter if it's your primary residence. You're never planning on leaving. If you're a seller or a buyer.
No, it's good to know because it's always been in our head that it's just the buyer that gets it.
That's the best plan out there. It really is.
Yeah.
It's the one with the biggest bang.
So if you're looking to buy or sell, please don't forget to call us. And then you know that we have you protected with choice every time with Tracy.
Yes.
Thank you, Tracy, for coming.
Thank you for having me. I love it here.
It's been so insightful. A lot of great tips for our clients, for everybody watching. And if you guys do have more questions, you guys can put them down in the comments below. And with the help of Tracy, we'll help to answer them for you guys. So that way you guys can be informed. And if you do have other questions, you can always call us as well to 714-510-0141.
Thank you for watching.
Until next time.
Bye.
Yes.
Thank you, Tracy, for coming.
Thank you for having me. I love it here. It's awesome.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you so much for being here.